KMTV.
Join your host, Julius Konton, on the program The Konton Show as we discuss top political issues making headlines in the country. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 to 11:05. Please join me as we discuss issues of the country, Liberia.
It's authentic, it's factual, and it's high.
Join us after our break, and if you just joined us, you're watching the Konton Show on KMTV. And many thanks for rejoining us after the review of the local dailies. And like we told you, we will be discussing the 100 days in office of this government, especially with a report released by CENTAL. CENTAL is the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It's a civil society group that's focusing on accountability and corruption related issues, tracking and holding government accountable to some of the things that they said they will do, all in matter making sure that the lives of the people of this country can be changed, can be better off for Liberia. And later on, we hope to join our reporter at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police, Godfrey Bedu, who will join in shortly. But I'm privileged to have in studio Gerald Yeakula. Gerald, I'd like to say welcome to KMTV.
Thank you, Mr. Konton. It's a pleasure to be in the studio to discuss issues of national concern.
That's great, and I'd like to also applaud you for your report released recently to the media. And firstly, tell us, people watching for the first time, they like to know more about CENTAL. In brief summary, what CENTAL is all about.
Yeah, so the acronym CENTAL stands for the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We are a local civil society organization. However, we have managed to achieve some standards and passed some accreditation of Transparency International. So by 2013, we became a full-fledged chapter of Transparency International in Liberia. So we work around anti-corruption issues, around governance issues. That's our area of focus. And so all of the work we do, we try to find our niche in it and go for it.
That's great, and you've been doing that so far as per the media focus. And I can remember Thomas Dodna when you were the executive director then, and so many issues raised and all aimed at attacking constructively government to do the very right thing. And now you release this report. What were some of your major issues of focus that you were looking at in this report?
Yeah, so maybe I would begin by
with the history.
Yes, the history of backtrack. So by September 2017, we engaged in election-related activities. As part of those activities, we were engaged in communities around signing integrity commitments, integrity pledges. So we will go to the Yanam boys who say, look, these are things that because to fight corruption, it's not just about the government content. We ourselves, in our own places, we do corrupt things. So we should not just look at those who are in the higher positions. Can we start with ourselves in wherever we are? So go to the police checkpoint, for example, and talk to the police people about corruption and how, if we want to have a better Liberia, we need to address it ourselves. You go to the market women, tell them about beating the rice cup and giving a false impression about the quantity of rice people are buying. So we were able to do all of those, and we convinced the people through our integrity clubs at the University of Liberia to sign on the integrity pledge commitment. So they say, well, I will not do the X, Y, and Z. I will not take bribe. I will not give bribe going forward. So for us, it was about starting a revolution at the community level and now coming up to the governance level. So concomitantly, we did another work around districts. So in Grand Bassa County, we did an integrity forum where we had aspirants. So we had the former representative Gabriel Smith. We had Honorable Julius. We had current representative Matthew Joe. They all came to the forum, and then they talked to the people about corruption, how they intend to go into the house and be able to address those issues.
And you document some of what they said.
Exactly. And so after that, not only did we document that, but they signed on to integrity commitments with the citizens. And so we're very happy when Honorable Marvin Joe won. So now we are working on modalities on how we can start to engage him. So look, we have this commitment that you said you're going to ensure that as a member of the legislature, you support integrated institutions, whether the GSC, whether the LCC, whether the internal audit. But you're going to ensure that in the budget, there will be funding for these institutions. Especially now we are saying issues around low funding for these institutions, he will be a champion. So these are things we are doing also today in Pond County, getting aspirants to commit to, for example, not taking bribes and all of that. Because what also we think is an issue of education, it's an issue of commitment, and we need to start doing that like a mode of evangelization. So from there, we also went to the political parties themselves at the national level. We engaged them, engaged people from the executive committees, and many of them bought the ideas. But quite unfortunately, we're not able to get them to sign on to the integrity.
What were some of the issues that they raised, if any?
Well, they basically said that it was a good thing that corruption was basically crept in the country. And if we must move forward and progress as a nation, we have to decisively address the issue of corruption. So, yes, they agreed, but then we needed to have this commitment. But unfortunately, that did not happen.
Were you disappointed by that in some way?
Somehow we're disappointed by that, but we kept pushing. And so because they did not sign, because of course they were issues about court issues, campaigns, so the people who supposed to sign their own campaign, or we're in court, how can we sign? We're not even sure that we are going by the run of elections. So we try to understand that. Elections came, the victor was announced. So on the day of the inauguration, we issued a press statement. So, and that, we did an advertisement first, but on the day of inauguration, we did a press statement with our global body, Transparency International. So look, these are recommendations we have for the Weah Administration, appoint people of integrity, support integrated institutions as a regime. These are things that will enable you to fight corruption. So we told President Weah and the administration then and there that we need you to do these things. And if we do these things, we are going to monitor you for the next 100 days. So this is not a surprise to the administration. We gave that notice to the administration way back as January 22nd. And even before then, because we're engaging them at the political party level. So this report is as a result of that monitoring process that spanned 125 days.
Okay, we hope to get detail about that. Thank you so much, Gerald. But we are taking this break, and right after that to link up with our own colleague from the Liberia National Police Headquarters, and then we discuss other issues relating to national security as well.
Well, Malak is more to me, saying with touch, with my supplier, with my customer, wherever I go.
What mattered the most to us was to have fun by creating and sharing great memories.
What mattered the most to me was staying connected with my friends.
What mattered the most to me was being able to work fast and increase my business productivity.
What mattered the most to me was being able to take care of my family and business in no time.
What mattered the most to me was getting immediate support whenever I was in need.
What mattered the most to us at Orange was connecting you, bringing you fun and emotions, helping your business grow, making money easy to handle, and so much more. And for years to come, it will matter even more. Thank you for this wonderful first year together.
This is the Konton Show, where we set the agenda and talk about current affairs in the country, giving you accurate headlines in our newspaper segment, politics and facts, right here on KMTV.
Join your host, Julius Konton, on the program The Konton Show as we discuss top political issues making headlines in the country, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 to 11:05. Please join me as we discuss issues of the country, Liberia. The weekend edition. Many thanks for rejoining us, and we just joined us. You're watching the Konton Show on KMTV. And let's now join our colleague Godfrey. Godfrey is currently at the Liberia National Police Headquarters, where there is a planned press conference. We understand that some issues to be addressed. And let's see if we can link up with Godfrey. Godfrey, good morning. Godfrey, good morning.
Good morning, Julius.
All right, first let's tell us, we understand that the conference you have started at 10. What's the latest information?
The time agenda has been changed to 11 o'clock due to some arrangement.
What are some of the issues that you got as tip about the conference you'd like to share with our people watching the Konton Show?
Thank you, Julius. Like most of us know what has been going on through the past week and this gone week. Police operations for the week. And then they are going to highlight on issues, some security issues pertaining to Liberia. And one is the arrest of the Nigerian pastor with some fake money issues. And then armed robbery cases. And the biggest of all, the very biggest of all, the police have arrested a huge tons of illegal drugs that they will be giving some information out to the public today. That's why we are here. Actually, we are still waiting for them. They are still putting themselves together, and I will get back to you as soon as we start the conference, the press conference.
Okay, before closing up, thank you for that information. Did you get any information about where they seized the huge quantity of drugs from? Did they say where, as just a tip? Which part of Liberia, which county?
Actually, they didn't say because they wanted to leave that for the press conference. They only gave us the highlight that they only arrested a huge ton of drugs, and that is one of the biggest or the very huge one they've ever arrested in the Republic of Liberia.
Wow, that is great. Thank you so much, Godfrey. Thank you so much for joining us from the headquarters of the LMP. We hope to rejoin you later to get more detailed information concerning that. And this is the Konton Show you're watching on KMTV. We're just everywhere, and we are committed to making sure that we bring you all of the latest information from around the country, talking about corruption, anti-graft institution, at the same time talking about security and talking about cultural issues. We're also hoping to link up with one of our reporters subsequently at the Information Ministry. We understand that some other issues will be happening. But let's now come back into our main studios where we have Gerald K. Yeakula. He is the program manager from the office of CENTAL. Gerald, you laid the premise already. Something I wanted to get clear, though you explained about the issues that you highlighted so far on the surface in your report. I wanted to find out from you clearly as to whether did this government in any way told CENTAL or the Liberian people generally that within this period of time we will do X, Y, and Z before coming to the integrity institutions and support?
Well, quite frankly, there were no time frames provided by the administration in terms of when they're going to deliver.
Okay.
But as civil society organization, our role is to help the government to do better. And so, while it is true that 100 days may not appear to be so sufficient to really allow for performance. Some of the reasons might be, for example, it will take time for the president to appoint. It will also take time for the Senate to confirm. And then before you have these institutions being ready to fully operational, which sometimes might be like 2 months or even 100 days. So we agree with that argument. But we also say that if there are certain things that are priorities, we must know from the 100 days. So, for example, the president said a lot of things in the State of the Nation address. Even his victory speech back then. Remember December 29, he said that people who are planning on cheating that are doing people will not have no place in his government.
Yeah, sure.
He said that back. But then coming forward, the State of the Nation address, he also said things about corruption. But it was within his 100 days that we heard about poor, in fact. And what did we see in the 100 days? We saw actions being taken towards the poor. Firstly, we saw the recast of the national budget. Then we saw about 13 priority projects identified. I saw monies being, and they were not in the budget before. But because this was a priority of the government says that they want to make the poor people the center of the development projects. So they have, because it is the priority, they look for money in the budget and say, look, we're going to spend, say, $1.2 million on WIAC fees, on WIAC or WAS fees for our students. We want to spend $1 million on credit line for businesses. We think this is important. So as an institution that focuses on anti-corruption, we are saying, if anti-corruption, if transparency of governance, good governance is also a priority of this administration, it is possible for us to know under this other administration, as you have seen with the other projects.
Okay, and you spoke about something very key, and is trending in the media about integrity institutions being supported so that they cannot be compromised in carrying out their activities. One of such is GSC, and GSC is raising the right flag now. What's your fear? What do you think we're troubled in this entire hula baloo if there could be salary cut for officials at integrity institutions generally that you highlighted in your report?
Yeah, so let me say that CENTAL, like my former boss mentioned, Mr. Thomas Onam, he was there. CENTAL had a position, and we still maintain that we have to be rational about how much people take on as pay. So even the cars people ride, can we have a standard in terms of the cars we ride? Instead of riding maybe $70,000, $80,000 vehicles, can there be a standard, say maybe $30,000? Can we have a good car for $30,000? In terms of government assets, there's a policy on you use the car for 3 years, it depreciates, and you buy the car. Is that a very good policy? So we actually have some position against wastage in government. However, when it comes to the issue of salary cut, there are many things that interplay. For example, budget itself is a law. So this the salary cut that was proposed is being effective for May, which also obviously falls within the budget year, and June, which obviously falls within the budget year. So if that budget was passed, and now you are cutting salaries of these people, then it's a problem because you are actually going against what the budget law says, that these people must receive the salary. The next thing is, there are other institutions.
So there are unconstitutional issues, violations.
Yeah. I mean, that basically will amount to violation of the law. Because when the lawmakers pass the law, what they are saying is we agree that this person makes the salary. And so if you go ahead and say, no, you're cutting the salary, then you are against what the lawmakers are, we elected the legislature have decided that the people make. The next thing is, for example, the GSC. In the GSC Act, it is stated clearly, and we made mention of that in our report, that in terms of remuneration, the GSC Auditor General will be on par with that of auditors of supreme audit institutions within the sub-region. So what that means is you go to Ghana, for example, how much does the Auditor General make here? You go to Sierra Leone. And so the current salary structure or salary grade at the GSC was developed based on that. And in fact, even some of those countries even go further to give age limits. For example, in Sierra Leone, the Auditor General there now is early 40s. And the Constitution says that the Auditor General will not retire until the age of 65.
Wow.
So it even protects us even further. In Liberia, of course, we got tenure, but 7 years tenure. So the rationale behind this lawmaking is that we don't want our people to be subject to influences or interferences by other branches. If there are audit reports being conducted, commission, we want it to be independent. We don't want corruption risks to sort of undermine these things. For example, the GSC. The GSC Act provides for financial autonomy. What that means is when you pass the budget, you give the GSC money and they run their
do their operations.
Exactly. Yeah. But that has not happened. And that is not even with the Weah Administration. Even when the presidential leave, that did not happen. And these are so what are you going to find out there? If, for example, the GSC has an issue maybe with the Ministry of Finance, or maybe there's an audit going on, the Ministry of Finance will say, well, I'm not going to release operational funds. So that's why the framers of the law thought it very wise. They said, look, we will provide for financial autonomy of the GSC. That when we pass the budget, we release the money to them, and then they go ahead and spend.
This general issue, Gerald, of quote unquote, we have good laws, the implementation, people at times try to strangulate other institutions, agencies, and it's actually affecting other institutions, like you said, operations. From your own observation, what do you think can really be done to ensure we can enforce these things to the letter?
Yes. So the good things that we have are that we have the laws. In other countries who have those kinds of laws are very difficult. So we appreciate the fact that we have these laws. In fact, these are some of the reasons why by 2012, Liberia's rating in the Transparency International CBR Corruption Perception Index has been improved very greatly because we have a lot of laws. However, to implement these laws, only required a systemic cooperation, willingness to be able to implement the law. What could that mean? Could that mean the issue of political law? So the law is there, financial autonomy. What stops the Ministry of Finance from releasing the money to the GSC? The law already says that. So you give the money. So we have to summon a spirit of being adherent to the law. So not only do we violate the laws, but I mean we fail to support or even our laws we make, which is really not a good thing for us. So I think in terms of we defeat the law, when we spend all of those time and resources passing the law, deliberating the bill, all of that, passing it, and at the end of the day, we cannot be able to implement. And so, for example, some of these people at the integrity institutions, they go in the suffer of 50% or 45% cut in the salaries. You know what that means? If, for example, the GSC or even the PPCC, let's go to the PPCC. The act that created the institution, or even the constitution, says that if you are doing or certain, you are performing a certain function of government, and that function might have a conflict with your own interests or functions, then you have to choose between the two. So if you have the PPCC, for example, that you are passing on procurement projects, procurement processes that come to you, you must not have any interest. What this means is it must be very neutral. So if you have an interest, maybe you have a business, to become your PPCC chairman, you have to relinquish interest in any business you have, because the problem is we don't want your business to want to come in that same procurement process and then you favor your business. So what we're effectively doing to these people is we're telling them do not have any businesses.
So you have to support them from the other end.
Exactly. So if you tell them that, so they're not like the other ministers. Like the ministers want, if I'm a minister of education, if I do something that may relate to education, it may constitute conflict of interest. If I'm doing agriculture, for example,
nothing.
It's nothing. It's not a conflict of interest.
So they are just limited because of the law.
Yeah,
but however, they've not been fully supported, and that's a problem.
Yeah, so now they go on the other hand and say, look, this is our office, and because we want to uphold integrity, we are going to comply with the law. We don't have businesses. If the other general is, of course, a CPA, a certified public accountant, she may want to say, well, I'm an audit firm to get money.
Sure.
But she's stopped by the law from doing that. So the people, these people who are well qualified, are not engaging to these things. So we are now supposed to be, as a country, since we feel these people are qualified, we now provide that extra support. So look, since we are stopping you, preventing you from doing X, Y, and Z, we are now going to support you by giving you a better salary. For example, the issue of salary cuts. One of the things we want to look at, if you're paying people their salary history, right? Let's forget about other things, but salary history. How much, if we came to KMTV, for example, we want to know how much you're making as Sky. If you're making something, say for example, be 1,000 as Sky, do you bring you at KMTV and give you 500? That is not acceptable. It's not something that is acceptable generally. So you only build upon that salary. So this salary cut was just made in the blanket range, not with any considerations of the roles these people play. For example, the issues of how they cannot do other businesses, about the salary history, how much they have earned in the past. Because you want to look at that and say, look, this is how you value, we're going to pay you for that. But you now cut everybody across the board, which is not good for...
So procedure-wise, they've been making some errors. Let's look at this issue. Are you seeing semblance from what you've started with your report and generally your observation, semblance of the lack of transparency, accountability, or corruption in this government so far?
Well, whether we see...
On the overall.
Yeah. So I think we think there is some movement towards transparency. However, there are other indicators that are also promising. So, for example, there is this open government partnership that the government of Liberia ascribed to in 2012. That says, well, publish a budget.
Yeah.
There are other commitments you have to do. When this administration came over, when they came in, they took on from where their predecessors left, and they are now continuing with the partnership. Just 2 weeks ago, there was a program here at the City Hall where we formally agreed that these are commitments we are going to do in terms of supporting, as a country, supporting the open government partnership. You also know the issue of the reason why we are discussing the national budget now is because if you go to the Ministry of Finance website, you can see the budget there. Prior to President Salif, we did not have access to the budget. President Salif came and we ascribed to these open government partnership, open budget initiative. We had the budget all around, we're seeing it. And so if we're reversing the trend, we just might not have seen the budget, but the budget is available. So that's a positive sign. But we wonder if there is an add-on finance private loan agreement that will cost $536 million to Liberian people that will have to pay back. An agreement that even has in it the contractor already identified. We wonder why that agreement is not public. That should be a public information so that so we shouldn't be getting it from close sources. Mind
you, the legislature, that branch of government, still trying to look at that. Maybe perhaps after they shall have concluded, we can wait and see.
We should be
even before.
Even before. That's the reason why even...
As part of transparency issues.
Exactly. That's the reason why the draft budget is now before the legislature, but we're discussing it. It has not been passed. Because what is the essence of discussing after it has been passed? You cannot effect any changes.
Sure.
But if you start to discuss it before, then you can say, look, there's something that does not smell right here. This agreement is being signed. We have already identified the contractor. What were the processes to be able to identify who is going to build the road, or who's going to build the schools or hospitals that we intend to build from this agreement? There has to be transparency about that. And so, for example, the issue of Afro Cheeks, you know, he has, when we engaged him, he said, well, I did not leak documents. Well, he was recently fired from the central bank.
That's another issue we'll get to later. Gerald, you're watching the Konton Show right here on KMTV, and our guest in studio is Gerald Yeakula. He happens to be the program manager of CENTAL. We're discussing the recent report released in the country and generally corruption-related, anti-corruption-related issues in this country. We're taking this break. When we come back, we'll delve into other issues on the program, so please be there.
When matter is more to me, staying in touch with my supplier, my customer, wherever I go.
What mattered the most to us was to have fun by creating and sharing great memories.
What mattered the most to me was staying connected with my friends.
What mattered the most to me was being able to work fast and increase my business productivity.
What mattered the most to me was being able to take care of my family and business in no time.
What mattered the most to me was getting immediate support whenever I was in need.
What mattered the most to us at Orange was connecting you, bringing you fun and emotions, helping your business grow, making money easy to handle, and so much more. And for years to come, it will matter even more. Thank you for this wonderful first year together.
It's authentic, it's factual, and it's high-hitting. This is the Konton Show, where we set the agenda and talk about current affairs in the country, giving you accurate headlines in our newspaper segment, politics and facts, right here on KMTV.
Join your host, Julius Konton, on the program The Konton Show as we discuss top political issues making headlines in the country, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 to 11:05. Please join me as we discuss issues of the country, Liberia. You can have your say, give your comments, your suggestions, question, whatever the case is, and through WhatsApp. Again, 0775 60 33 60 is the number to call, and you'll be live on the program, The Konton Show. Our guest in studio is Gerald. So Gerald, coming to this issue, and is generally about, in as much as you highlighted some names of people linked to past audit reports and that this government appointed, etc., etc. There may be another issue that people may raise, that though you are raising issue from the backdrop of transparency, accountability, holding people accountable, but other side of the coin could be that people may say, hey, this government is coming on the issue of witch hunting. But you flag the issue of calling names of people as far as integrity is concerned, which is very key. And could you, for the benefit of people watching who were not fortunate to look at this report, to give some of the names that you highlighted in your report, and was your own fear that this government included them?
Yeah, so I think in Liberia it said that if the Christmas is good, you know
from the eve.
Yeah. And also going back to President Weah's statement about officials who are playing the cheat Liberian people, we have no place in his administration. So now, using that as a backdrop, If we do a monitoring, we're going to say, okay, the president says this. Is this something that he's going to live by? So who are those people that he's appointing? Do they have any history of cheating Liberian people? Because if you say that they will have no place in the administration, they want to see whether there are people that who have records of cheating Liberian people, or whether even in the private sector they do that. So that's what we're monitoring. So the issue of the president appointing Emmanuel Shaw as a vice of the president. Mr. Shaw, from the days of Tolbert, from the days of President Doe, from the days of Charles Taylor, he has had public record of engaging in the shady deals worth millions of dollars, basically shortchanging Liberian people and becoming a millionaire overnight. Now we see him very close to the presidency. Very close to the presidency as an advisor. What is he advising the president?
Will he pollute the president's mind? That's the direction.
Exactly.
So that's your fear.
That's our fear. The issue of Mr. Moseri Momo, for example, at the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. And something we found very strange is that some of these people, the very institutions where they were accused or alleged to have committed acts,
they are back
to those same places. So what does it even do to the workforce? In fact, the wage hunting we're talking about, that is where it will even start. Because somebody might say, well, I was in this place and they were taking me from here and you were behind it, and so I come here, I'm going to get rid of everybody from here. So why would you even want to take them back to the same places? You have Elias Shonian. He was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and there was this Japanese grants that were given for capacity building at the ministry. And the GSC audit report found that $21 million Liberian was misappropriated and swindled, and that Mr. Shonian had a part to play along with other people.
And you stay at the Foreign Ministry?
He at the Foreign Ministry reappointed. Mr. Sebastian Gibson at the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, he was Deputy Chief of Training, and he got dismissed because he was investigated and found guilty at that level for extortion and bribery. Now he has been appointed as Deputy for Administration on the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. That place that has to do with integrity, because he just saw your reporter talk about drugs, the highest quantity of drugs, and you need to have somebody who will resist those kinds of things. And you have, so these are things we are saying.
It's just like old wine in new bottle.
Yes, you bring the same people back. And so we are saying, Mr. President, if you were telling Liberian people just a few months ago that people will have history of cheating will not be in government, why are they there in the first place now?
The protection of whistleblowers is a very key issue to this. People are seeing some things, they are in government agencies, they want to say them, by the end of the day, who protects them?
Yes. So if we see, for example, the average chiefs at the Central Bank. The Central Bank says on the one hand that there is a confidentiality clause. So if there is a confidentiality clause of 6 days, and if you said, according to them, they did investigations, now when you do the investigation, you will identify who the person is, as they say, Afro-Cheeks. But that should be an internal administration issue. So what does your law say about breaching of the clause? Is it warning, suspension, or dismissal? As an internal issue. But when that matter, which of course there are issues about it, because you know the particular point here under consideration where the person was traveling and they said that the trip to Senegal was not at any cause of the Liberian people, and then that information came up, which was in public interest. Even if you said the breaching in the confidentiality clause as an issue that we might touch on, but let's agree for the sake of the argument that it breached integrity confidentiality clause. If you take him and send him to the National Security Agency, what's our security matter? If you take him and send him there and keep him in custody for 2 days, Konton, this man is, so then it sends chills down the spines of future whistleblowers.
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't want that to happen to me. We think that by blowing the whistle, it's helping the government. But if you blow the whistle, and the whistle is not a way to help the government, but rather the government comes back at you, then it's not whistleblowing.
And we have the case of the late Michael Allison. But owing to all of these things that you've raising all of these concerns, which are actually legitimate and realistic, do you see this government with 100 days plus in office slowly, gradually being guilty of running into trouble with the issue of accountability, transparency, corruption?
Yeah, I think it's really bad. So take for example the Popo projects. In our report, we said that most of the Popo projects are not compliant with procurement laws. So the money given to the first lady, for example, $500,000. That expenditure has not been compliant with the PPCC laws. What is she doing with the money? The money for
donations all over the place.
Exactly. How are you buying what they are buying?
But what means using that?
Exactly. So if we have millions of dollars,
what do you intend to do in that direction from the end of CENTAL?
Well,
that's a very key issue.
It's a very key issue, and I think the first thing we are doing is to be able to flag it. But I also know that on Monday, the House had a hearing, they had a meeting, so to say, with the PPCC on these same kind of issues in terms of the government. So we hope that the House will take serious actions as to compliance with our laws, because some of the reasons why we said the regime of President Sadiq was corrupt was because of some very simple reasons, that they are not complying with the laws, that the GSC will come to audits and they will see that you don't have any people to show for how you spend the money.
So on an average or a percentage wise, can you say from, I want you to throw it out clearly to the public, from your observation, corruption wise, what's the percentage of this government for the time they've been performing for?
Yeah, I mean, we thought about that.
Though the time is short, but
the time is short.
Can we say 50%?
We really
45%
we really tried control the disease from quitting. We thought to just put out the issues.
You have to create the picture in the minds of the people as well, so they can know. Perhaps you raise an issue, awareness, so that the government can take corrective measures.
Yes.
And so you have to grade them. How can you know the performance of this person without percentage?
Exactly, and so what we thought to do, Konton.
Example, 45%, 50%?
To raise the issues, Konton. After raising the issues, then we'll leave it with the Liberian people to be the judge. And so what that would mean, on the other hand, would be to do surveys. And that would mean to come to Konton, to come to people, to Mantewa in the market, say, how do you see the government fighting, progress towards fighting corruption? And then she will say, I grade an F, I grade an A. But as an institution, we know that there's this subjective nature towards that, and that's not what we want to get into.
Are you afraid that people will quote it? It was CENTAL who said that the government so far from 100 days plus corruption was 45%. You are international and local institution as well, and you're doing the right thing. Why not flag at that?
So it's good to flag, but when you're flagging, you want to keep track of your credibility. You want to ensure that whatever you say is backed by evidence. So if you say 45%, how did it derive at the 45%? How are the variables? So until we can get those variables very clear to say, well, these variables equal this and that, we want to desist from doing that.
And so you'll be focusing on that in your subsequent report. Any final thing you'd like to say quickly?
Well, I would like to say thank you, KMTV, for helping us inform the Liberian people about the level or the status of anti-corruption in the country. We are very glad for the opportunity, and we hope and pray that the administration will see this report as a friendly report and accept it, embrace it for the forward march of our country.
Thank you so much, Gerald.
Thank you so much, Julius.
That's Gerald Yeakula, Program Manager, Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We've been discussing their recent report released in the country. This is the report, and we've been talking detail, flagging some of the issues concerning accountability, transparency, and corruption. They are looking for facts and evidence before coming up with grading of this government, to get the opinions as well from the people of this country about what's happening in terms of corruption in Liberia. We also linked up our live with our colleague Godfrey Bedu from the headquarters of the LMP. We hope to get him later on to give us detailed information. Until we come your way Monday, the Konton Show is going for its usual weekend break. Many thanks to the entire crew, and thanks for watching. Remember now, on tomorrow, we will be at the BYC Sports page for Sporting Encounter. Mind you, work with our play makes Jack a dog ball. So come and see your celebrities doing something different. Bye-bye for now. I'm Julius Konton.
When Malak is moved to me, saying with touch, with my supplier, with my customer, wherever I want.
What mattered the most to us was to have fun by creating and sharing great memories.
What mattered the most to me was staying connected with my friends.
What mattered the most to me was being able to work fast and increase my business productivity.
What mattered the most to me was being able to take care of my family and business in no time.
What mattered the most to me was getting immediate support whenever I was in need.
What mattered the most to us at Orange was connecting you, bringing you fun and emotions, helping your business grow, making money easy to handle, and so much more. And for years to come, it will matter even more. Thank you for this wonderful first year together.
Orange.
I'm a beeper. Ain't see it. When you touch me, I touch you.